Most people plan their future completely backward. You stand where you are today and ask, what should I do next? And then what should I do after that? And before long, you have 100 tasks in Notion and a 5-year plan and a vision board. And next year, somehow you're still in the same place as you were today. Here's the problem. You're trying to guess your way forward into a future that hasn't happened yet. And what if I told you there's a much easier way? Start at the future and work your way backward. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. By the end of this video, you won't have 50 new tasks. You will have one, which is the next thing you actually need to do. Step 1, start at the destination. Imagine I dropped you in the middle of the woods and told you go north. Okay, north to where? There's a huge difference between having a direction and having a destination. I can say go north. Well, when do you know when you're going to stop? Can you even find north? Now imagine instead of just saying go north, I give you exact coordinates. And suddenly everything changes because you know exactly where you are and you know exactly where you are going. And now you can calculate that route between the two. So take out a notebook and imagine yourself 1 year from today. And imagine your top 3 goals, the 3 things that you've been working towards have happened. So your income changed, you built a business, maybe you're healthier, you're fit, you have more muscle, you have less fat, you can run a marathon. Maybe your relationships are better. You finally finished the thing you've been talking about for 5 years. The thing, it finally happened. Whatever matters to you, it's done. Now, don't ask, what do I have? Ask, who did I have to become for this to be normal? That's the useful question. Let's say you built a successful business, and forget the revenue for just a second. What does the version of you actually do that has built this successful business? How do you handle rejection? What happens when something doesn't work out for this successful business owner? Do you make difficult calls instead of avoiding them? What does Monday morning look like? What's your routine? What decisions does that person make quickly that you spend weeks worrying about and procrastinating over? That's the future you. Write down the future you's qualities, habits, and standards that had to become normal for that future to exist. And don't turn yourself into a superhero. Okay? Future you does not have to wake up at 4 a.m. and drink a gallon of sparkling water and read 19 books before breakfast and do like an ice plunge and somehow never get tired. Okay? That's just fantasy. Make this person believable and achievable, and be ambitious. That's okay, but it has to be ecological. It has to be something that you know that is possible for you. Even if it's a stretch, it can still be possible. Step 2, find the gap. Put future you next to current you and ask, why isn't this already true? That question can be uncomfortable, and it probably will be, and that's good because we want useful information, not self-esteem brownie points. If Google Maps tells you that a bridge is closed, you don't yell, stop being so negative, Google. You just say, okay, I need another route. And these days, Google Maps just reroutes you automatically. You treat the gap the same way, okay? So maybe you need a skill, like you're avoiding sales calls, or you're not spending your money wisely, or maybe you stay up late. That's all observable and changeable. So now you get specific, all right? Remember, we're in our notebook, and we're writing, and saying things or writing down things like, I'm not disciplined, or I lack discipline is useless. Now, instead, if you say, okay, what am I doing? I sit down to work and I open YouTube and maybe I'm even doing research, but then I waste 45 minutes because I go down the rabbit hole. That's useful. All right. Another example, I'm bad with money is not constructive feedback. Okay. It might be true, but it doesn't help us. Now, if you said, I don't know where my money goes, well, that's useful because you can find out where your money goes. Okay. If you say I'm bad with money, then, okay, well, how do I get good with money? What is being bad with money? What's being good with money? You have a lot of more things to define. If you're specific, I don't know where my money goes, like where's all the money that I made? Okay, well, that is a useful question because that thing is find outable, right? Vague problems feel huge and unsolvable, and you get overwhelmed just thinking about them. But specific problems that come from specific questions have specific solutions that are relatively simple to find. So write down the actual gaps between who you are now and the version of you just described, the future you. And step 3, work backward. So now we do the part that makes it all make sense. Pick one result from 1 year into the future and imagine it's already done. And then ask, what happened immediately before this? What was the final thing that I did or that happened before this thing came true. So for example, very simple example, let's say you want a book published. The book's published. What happened right before that? Well, the final files were uploaded to the publisher, to the website. Okay, before that, the manuscript was formatted into the right format. Before that, the editing was finished. Before that, the first draft existed. Before that, you were writing consistently X number of words per day. Before that, you had an actual outline. Before that, you decided what the book was about. And maybe that's where you are today. But notice what happened. Write a book disappeared. You don't need to write a book today. That's the overwhelming part. You say, well, I want to write a book. But a book's so long and there's so many steps and it's going to be, I'm going to be finished in like a year. All right, well, but you're not going to write a book today because you see writing a book is a lot of things that happen in a certain order. So right now you just need to outline it. That's a real action. And this is why one of my favorite questions is what's next? It's not, how do I accomplish the next 10 years of my life? Because that's overwhelming and then I end up doing nothing except for what makes me feel good in the next 5 minutes. Because the next 5 minutes, well, it's easy to open the phone. It's easy to scroll TikTok or YouTube or even to just like pick up a book that is entertaining, but it doesn't really help me get anywhere, or sit on my couch and watch Netflix and snack. Okay, when I think, how do I do all this stuff that I want to do in the next 10 years? And it overwhelms me, I just do the easiest thing that is within reach. But if I've done this process and I think, well, if I do all these steps that I've worked backwards from the outcome, and I know the very next thing I'm supposed to do, okay? You don't climb a mountain by thinking about how many steps are until the top. That will just discourage you and make you tired before you even get there. You just put your foot on the next piece of rock, one foot in front of another. And you do this with each of your major objectives. Start at the finished result and ask what happened immediately before that. And then what happened before that. And keep backing up until you reach the thing that you can do right now. And circle that action. That's your to-do list. That's it. And it's only got one item. And when you cross that off, then you do the next thing. And guess what? Here's a funny little secret. Okay, so you might say, well, okay, that's great. My next thing is to come up with what the book's about. Okay, cool. So you've done that. Well, the next thing is an outline. But the outline, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to sit down and now I'm overwhelmed because I have to do an outline. Because an outline is like kind of a big thing, right? I'm outlining an entire book. Great. Okay, well, guess what? The outline has work backwards this is a fractal. Okay, you say, okay, the thing that I'm going to accomplish in the next month is to finish an outline. Okay, the outline's done. What was the thing I did right before the outline was done? Well, I finished the last section. Okay, how many sections are there? So you're breaking it down. You're breaking the one big thing, which is write a book, into actionable steps. And the next thing is to do the outline. Now you're taking the outline, which is like a medium-sized thing relative to writing a book, and you're breaking that down into measurable steps, into little chunks, right? This is called chunking down. It's like an NLP term, and it's applicable with your goals because you can chunk up. Well, I want to write a book. Well, that's chunking up. I want to write a series of books. Okay, chunking way up. I want to create a knowledge database. All right, that can be chunked down into what's the next action? What is it made up of? One important thing to keep in mind also is don't marry the blueprint. Okay, don't like put all of your steps into concrete and say, okay, this definitely has to happen this way, because you're not a prophet and you can't predict the future, and you have a solid set of directions here, but you're going to be wrong about parts of it, and that's okay. Something's not going to work, or you'll learn something new, or you'll get to a step and you'll be like, oh, I thought the next step was this, but now that I'm here, it's actually this. That's great. Just modify the plan. Like, you're not a robot. You're not a tree. You can work around things. And, maybe some opportunity will appear that you can't possibly predict right now because you're not there yet. So do the exercise again with the new information, or alter course. Again, you are a human with a beautiful brain that can think for themselves and do things. So you're not getting this blueprint tattooed on your back. The destination is giving you a direction, and the blueprint is giving you the best next move based on the information that you currently know right now. And that is all you need. Most people have been overcomplicating this forever. All you need to know is the next step. And as the poet said, when you begin walking, the path will appear. So if you have a notebook, do this now. Your exercise is very simple. First, describe future you. Who has to exist for your goals to become normal? What is this person like? Second, identify the gap. What specifically separates that person from you today? Okay, don't judge, don't criticize, no negativity, just facts from here to there. And third, work backward. Start with the result and keep asking what happened immediately before this and immediately before that and immediately before that until you reach today. And then circle the first action you can take right now. Do not make a list. It's not going to be any more than one item, okay? You're writing the path, reverse engineering it, and your to-do list has one thing on it, and it's the next thing you're going to do. Don't try and solve your entire future. Just find the next step and take it. And if you're following the Ascent program with me, this is the blueprint exercise, and it completes the foundation's elevation. So the worksheet is below if you want to work through the process away from the screen. And in the next video, we're going to deal with a strange problem, which is that you can know exactly what you need to do and still not do it. And that's where this will get really interesting. So I'll see you there.